My name is Mwada Nkunyinji. I'm the Member of Parliament for Kyadondo County East in Parliament of Uganda, and I'm also the Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, Parliament of Uganda. This press briefing has been called on short notice to address the very disturbing news and information alluding to a visa application ban on Uganda and some other countries by the United Arab Emirates. And the wider public has largely understood United Arab Emirates as Dubai, but Dubai is among the several Emirates or regions of the United Arab Emirates. The country is United Arab Emirates. It is on record that hundreds of Ugandan nationals live and work in United Arab Emirates. We have also a very big number of Ugandan nationals who engage in trade with the United Arab Emirates as traders who travel from Uganda to UAE and from UAE to Uganda regularly, and a number of our nationals who selectively chose to migrate and seek employment in the United Arab Emirates. And of course, there are another category that were taken as workers or laborers through companies. The record is not clear how many of Ugandan nationals travel to UAE through organized companies and how many traveled on their own, whether in known or formal processes. But with the recent revelation, some may have been trafficked, according to the recent BBC story. Now, to us as opposition and to me as a shadow minister, we advocate for safe and open migration. Ugandans should not be restricted in their travel globally. And on several occasions, Ugandans travel for various reasons, including tourism, visit, trade, education, among others. And when we receive any news that there is a possibility of a visa ban or blockade by any country, it definitely affects the travel index and the passport index of Uganda passport holders. Several other countries may end up also restricting applications or cautiously treating every application by Ugandans. Now, this is very concerning and disturbing. In the same year, the United States of America reduced on the visa allowance given to Ugandan nationals and probably put additional restrictions. We warned that this might trigger future and further restrictions by other countries. And we reprimanded, even on the floor as a shadow minister, I've been reprimanding government to showcase how far they have moved to safeguard and protect Uganda's passport index so that it becomes acceptable widely. Because with a better and good passport index, we reduce on the requirement and formalities of visa application. Reciprocity has been wanting. Even countries which gave Uganda a leeway and better visa option, Uganda did not reciprocate in the same terms, and some countries opt to act. We have been demanding for safe borders to restrict and tame human trafficking. Of course, when our borders are not safely controlled, when traffickers, even when known, are not prosecuted, countries have a reason to fear that some of the migrants may not have been through formal processes, and it causes a challenge that Ugandans are investigated more, even those who are legitimately in those respective countries of destiny. Now, the question of human trafficking remained and was even made worse by the revelation of the BBC story, meaning countries cannot honestly and with justification trust an application by a Uganda passport holder. There is a presumption that either someone was trafficked, there is a presumption that possibly the holder of that passport is not a Ugandan. Now, this raises questions and further worsen our passport index and acceptability. Even before this travel ban, I've been receiving revelation from Ugandans in the UAE that when even those with visas and work permit, when they expire and they apply, they take a long time to receive a response. And sometimes when the response is not positive, you're already in a legal stay and you have to pay fine, with or without work. Equally, those who apply for permit to work safely, many of them are denied Uganda applicants in UAE. Now, to come to a time when now UAE is opting for a complete, a total ban on visa application for visitors and work permit applications, save I hear for those who are already holding them, but still they will be subject to renewal when they expire. And the same category who are holding now active visas and work permits will equally have a similar problem, because the rumored ban has not been well elaborated as to whether it will be lifted. I've done some efforts to contact the United Arab Emirates Embassy, but the information I received informally is that they are still reviewing and trying to understand the position of United Arab Emirates. It has also widely saturated over trustable media sources. Now, we remain challenged that when it comes to our borders, no effort has been done to curb trafficking. And that would justify countries coming up to put restrictions on Ugandans and Uganda applicants. Equally, when it comes to negotiation of our passport and reciprocity, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our embassies have largely focused on negotiating for holders of diplomatic passports and holders of official or service passports, the green passports and the red passports. Majority of Ugandan nationals are holders of ordinary passports. It is also on record that as part of our inquiry, the time I've spent as a shadow minister, we have come to scenarios where Uganda service passports are being held by non-officials of Uganda government, especially domestic workers of some of our diplomats abroad, and some who are not even working nearer to embassies or diplomats. And it will come to a time when even official passport is in question. It will come to a time when our diplomatic passport is equally questioned. And issuance of these passports is by Ministry of Internal Affairs, and there is a presumption that for official service passports and diplomatic passports, there is a recommendation from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Who does the recommendation? Even to non-government officials and even to non-diplomats. The way people are waiving diplomatic passports in this country is against international law. Diplomatic passports carry the relevant immunity. We are now coming to a situation that Ugandans Ugandans are caught and found with diplomatic passports, but without diplomatic immunity. The two doesn't add up. Those would ordinarily be carrying official passports or service passports. But there is a mixture of who holds what passport in terms of actual possession, whereas the law is different. We shall come to a time when everyone is in question. But more importantly, little efforts have been made to ensure that we safeguard and we negotiate for holders of ordinary passport. Because when a passport is acceptable by many countries, where there are visa waivers by several countries, your passport index increases and acceptability of an applicant for visa or permit becomes stronger. In some countries, they even have a document called a travel document, vis-a-vis a passport. But in some countries like Canada, UK, a holder of a travel document can travel to many countries of the world without a visa than a holder of a full Uganda passport. Some countries within the East African region have a stronger passport than a Uganda passport. And the countries of the world, including the US, have been questioning what efforts and measures are being put in place by Uganda government to ensure that our passport is protected, so that these countries which rely on them to issue visas and permits are very certain that they are issuing to a Ugandan who legitimately left the country and who legitimately have a country of abode where to return to after the visa permission or the permission to enter another country. Nothing has been done by Uganda to date. And that's why we are facing travel ban and visa ban after visa ban. This is troubling because government officials and those in power are hiding under the cover that after all a diplomatic passport and a service passport is still acceptable and the application for visa is simple. They are caring less on the fate of ordinary Ugandans. And majority of our traders are equally holders of ordinary passports. This will largely affect trade as well. Now, where we are, that now the United Arab Emirates has come up even to propose and opt for a visa ban on Ugandan nationals, is even a complicated position and scenario. We have hundreds of Ugandan nationals who are living within the United Arab Emirates. When you look at our trade as a country, Uganda, in terms of external trade and exports, has been trading largely with Democratic Republic of Congo and the United Arab Emirates. Actually, our trade volumes are competing, meaning that a visa ban would affect trade and mobility of people. Because not whoever is trading with UAE is actually staying within UAE. That is one concerning development. It is going to affect our traders. It is also going to affect our nationals who are there, who are remitting various amounts towards the Ugandan economy. And these are taxpayers. Whereas they would have loved to work in this country, but the situation and the job market it does not favor their effective deployment and work within Uganda. And thus they choose to opt for any lucrative opportunity wherever it is, including the United Arab Emirates. Now, the fate of these nationals, even those with active visas and permits, is in trouble and is questionable. Because if UAE want to renew their visa, automatically they are destined to make losses and to suffer. Their fate is likely to be in deportation very soon. This is very concerning. Now, for our nationals who yearn to seek employment in UAE, because with the limited employment in this country, we must promote safe migration globally and opt for any job opportunity wherever it is globally. I've been reprimanding government and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Gender to fast track bilateral labor agreements. And after fast tracking and executing bilateral labor agreements, to also look into the aspect of enforcing these bilateral labor agreements. As we speak today, even with for countries where we have bilateral labor agreements, like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, these agreements are nowhere to be seen. The migrant workers have no access to these bilateral agreements to see what is their rights and the fate within those bilateral agreements. Just last year, the Minister of Gender was in the media saying that we have now an agreement with Qatar. But it is not accessible by anyone. How will now these migrant workers know their rights and also recommend and propose How will even the travel and also these recruitment companies know their terms of reference? These are concerning developments, but as well, when these bilateral agreements are being renewed, like for example, with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, regularly these agreements are renewed. The Minister of Gender doesn't consult the victims and the beneficiaries, because it will now inform their ground in negotiating the renewal and various terms to favor Uganda migrant workers. These are concerning revelations. When it comes to the UAE, United Arab Emirates, my records show that Uganda had negotiated and come with UAE and had come to a memorandum of understanding, a resemblance of an agreement or a bilateral agreement with the United Arab Emirates, which has not been enforced up to date. And part of the enforcement required to appoint individuals and representatives from either sides, and as well an action plan, including facilitating its implementation. Uganda has taken no efforts to fast-track enforcement of a bilateral agreement with the United Arab Emirates. A bilateral agreement on labor would now inform rights of migrant workers, will now create an obligation on the host country, be it the UAE, to receive applications from Ugandans and to quickly process applications. Even in the previous arrangement, Ugandans have been complaining that why many have been found with invalid visas. They say that those who enter the UAE enter lawfully, many of them, but when they apply for renewal, including application for permit, there has been a delay in processing applications for Ugandan nationals. And part of the delay is because they are considered like any other applicant, because we don't have a bilateral agreement on labor. Countries which have bilateral agreements on labor with UAE have been receiving quick processing of their nationals and their applications for visa and for work permits. A country like Philippines with more than 12 million nationals working abroad follows up its nationals, and they have safer protection, including a minimum wage. Now, with that lack of protective agreements and enforceable bilateral agreements, the room for reclaiming rights of those who are found in those countries remain limited, and it now creates room for those who remain distressed and stranded to end up either exploited or becoming a burden to those countries where they are. And several times, it's also on the record, we have done efforts as people to assist Ugandan nationals who are stranded within those countries, including the UAE. But it's not only the case for Ugandans seeking jobs and recruitment abroad. Other countries which opt for the same follow up their nationals and offer them protection. The Uganda government, the Minister of Gender, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and government generally has abandoned everything to do with protecting and negotiating protection for migrant workers, save for only proposing charges and charging them on their remittances and even as they exit, because there is a correction made from each of a migrant worker that leaves this country. That goes to Minister of Gender and government in general. There are a lot of charges on their remittances, but nothing is being done to protect and to fight for their rights while abroad. A bilateral agreement will also protect the victims to know where to seek remedy and rescue. On several occasions, whenever Parliament has been processing budgets, I've made it a point in our alternative policy for foreign affairs, including appearing on the committees, reprimanding that there must be also allocation of funds to cater for Ugandans who fall in distress. But all these have accumulated, and the countries of the world have been watching, including the UAE. Now, when we face a scenario of a possible visa ban, we largely blame the government of Uganda, the Minister of Gender, and Minister of Foreign Affairs for failing Ugandans. It is regrettable. They have failed the Ugandans, and they are not. They may think they are failing migrant workers, but they are as well failing their families, the economy, and failing the passport index of Ugandans, especially ordinary passport holders. It's absurd. And as we pray that the government of United Arab Emirates listens to the cries of Ugandans and other nationalities, As opposition, we shall also make efforts to reach out to countries of the world, including the United Arab Emirates. We shall make efforts to also reach out and demonstrate our position as people, because we look towards continued good relations with the countries of the world, including United Arab Emirates, because they host our nationals and they have opportunities for our nationals. As they receive other nationals from other parts of the world, challenges and shortfalls caused by within the government establishment should not be attributed to innocent Ugandans. We shall also do what it takes to express our prayers and reach out to countries of the world, including the UAE, with the hope that they will listen to the cries of our people, so that the visa and passport opportunity, a visa and work permit opportunity remain open to Ugandans as it is open to other nationalities. We also, foreign affairs, our embassy in Abu Dhabi and our consulate in Dubai and the entire fabric of government establishment, you must initiate diplomatic engagements with the United Arab Emirates and other countries to ensure that our nationals are not locked out in terms of visa, work permit, and other facilities for migrants and for free mobility of Uganda nationals. Because it is in the best interest of our people and our country to have free mobility as people and as a country. We regret and we sympathize with Ugandans who may have fallen victims of whatever is happening, and I understand those in UAE may now be in fear. They can't tell and they can't know their fate. We are with you and we shall stand with you. We shall do all what it takes to ensure that our nationals abroad are protected. I thank you.
That one is deplorable. That information is where they are going to they intend to restrict visas for Ugandans and tourists coming from Uganda to United Arab Emirates is a very key thing. But I think what is important is that on government to government, there are normal diplomatic ties. So they can leverage on that and ensure that at least they discuss on government to government and see what are the conditions, what are the issues surrounding this. Then they can be harmonized so that we can come up with an understanding. So I don't want to say that the Ugandans should actually fear. Government will engage their counterparts to ensure that at least something comes out in a way of corrective action. And then of course I must mention that that is very key because it brings a lot of money to our consulate fund. So it's important that at least the revenue that we tap from remittances from people who go to work abroad, including United Arab Emirates, is very important. Because at least the statistics show that by 2023, they were saying we get at least 1.3 billion United dollars, which is about 4.4 trillion. And of course, it has even increased. So it's important that at least we explore avenues to ensure that at least we mend the relationship and they do right what they think was not right, culminating into that expansion, ban on our entry, our visa entry to the United Arab Emirates. I thank you. Abdul Parliament.
We have tubaddenga twogera ku modern slavery nti abaana baffe abasomiwa ne Uganda tebalina mirimu mu ggwanga Uganda, balina degrees, bambali ku boda kati nabo bambi ne beerwanako bagendeko ebuwarabu benoonyeze ku mirimu. Bali okutuyimiriza nze nkisanyukira, njagala buli Munnayuganda akomewo ewaka. Kuba ekyamazima mu kyasa kino kye tulimu ekya21 kyannaku nnyo okulaba nga Munnayuganda akeera ku makya okgenda ebuwarabu okunoonya emitwalo 80 ng'omusaala. Era kisaanidde abantu abo batuyimirize bakomewo ewaka, tukomewo tulwanire wano ewaka, tukyuse eggwanga lyaffe Uganda. Ezo ensi ezitugoba kaakati zaali nnaku nnyo era Uganda twali tubawaddeko n'obuyambi. So mukana akaseera kyabuvunaanyizibwa ng'eggwanga okutereeza eggwanga lyaffe. Sakiri ati abaana baffe balekera okunoonya waka permit nti bagenda mu Buwarabu kuba kyeyo. tusigale wane Uganda tukolere Uganda nga tumaze okutereeza ensi yaffe Uganda naffe tubateekeko restrictions naffe tutandika okuteekako abazungu restrictions okujja Uganda kubanga Uganda is the pearl of Africa yensi esinga obulungi wano mu Africa so kisaanidde batuyimirize tukomewo ewaka naffe twetereeze tukulakulanye ensi yaffe.
Okay.